Patrick, what in the world are you talking about this morning?
I think I might buy me a football team.
Yeah, Stan Kroenke. I've got Stan Kroenke on the line here. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? When I saw the story come across here that Wentzville may end up partnering with effectively a company operated or controlled by Stan Kroenke somehow, I was a little surprised. How's that going to fly?
Not well, it seems. So first of all, for your listeners that aren't familiar, and we've talked to you for years about special taxing districts. Basically, Missouri law allows private developers or hotels, existing businesses, to charge an additional sales tax or property tax, which the consumer pays, obviously, at the point of sale. So that's nothing new. It's not good. It's out of control. They're not transparent, and oftentimes there isn't voter support for it, but it's nothing new. What I liked about this story is that people are getting upset that Wentzville is doing one of these, but because the developer is a partnership including Stan Kroenke, I love the irony, which is someone like Kroenke, who has his entire professional life raked in millions of dollars of taxpayer funds, might be the guy that gets legislators to pay attention and say, "Oh, we've got to stop doing this."
Yeah, people bristle at the name of Stan Kroenke these days, and because we're trying to fight this in court here, it's possible, I was told, that if we end up keeping this in St. Louis, this trial, Stan Kroenke and even Roger Goodell and some others might be dragged into a courtroom here in St. Louis to testify over this whole lawsuit about the Rams leaving St. Louis. So that's gonna make for some interesting headlines.
It will. My hope, and I've been instructed that this is pie in the sky, is that St. Louisans would learn a lesson.
Oh, no.
Look, these people come into town, they make wild promises, they make you build things for them, and then when they want to leave, because the city owns the stadium and because the city has horribly negotiated all these contracts, you're left holding the bag, or perhaps the stadium. And there is a new franchise coming to town, and the deal is not much different than what we've offered previous teams.
No, not at all. So what would they have in the end if this project happened? What would Wentzville end up with?
So Wentzville wants to build a recreation complex for, I want to say it's a $23 million complex, or maybe it's closer to $40 million. And so what they've done is they've kind of drawn a circle around a shopping center and said everybody within the circle is going to pay an additional 1% tax. 30 or 40% of it will go to these developers that will use that income to pay for bonds, and those bonds will be used to build the complex. One of the things that people are upset about is that circle on the map that will collect the 1% tax will include businesses that are in competition with the new shops that are built, right? But again, this is nothing new. Like, we subsidize Walmarts all over Missouri that are in competition with grocery stores and hardware stores that do pay sales taxes, that do pay property taxes. So I completely understand why people are upset about this, but I want to kind of point around the state and say, we've been doing this all over, and we've been doing it for years.
Well, we have, and we've talked about it on this show many times, how, particularly in the case of the Walmarts, right? They build a box store, they stay there till the tax credits run out, and then they wait for the next great offer, and they move it 2 miles down the road to the next town. Town number one's left with a large empty space that they've got to try to fill. Yeah,
so Walmart wanted to build some stores in my neighborhood in Kansas City, and the neighbors were all upset, and one of the reasons they used to oppose it was, the use of economic development incentives, and Walmart said, no, we're not asking for them this time, as if that was a feature. Like, private business operates privately, and we're all supposed to be excited about it. Like, no, that's what should happen, but to your point, we've so distorted expectations in Missouri Every business thinks they should get a handout. Every team owner assumes they should get tax dollars. That when somebody comes along and doesn't want it, it's newsworthy.
Yeah.
And, Wentzville, again, it's shocking, it's unfortunate, but it's not new.
Well, and Stan Kroenke could have a hand in another project. That's just, I think that's going to shock a lot of people when they hear that name thrown around. Interesting.